We dug deep, so deep that we dug straight to hell. So come along and ride on our hell-tastic voyage. We watched Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. We watched it so you don't have to. So you know what that means.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Greetings, Moon Goons! We welcome you to our first ever live episode of the Horrible Horror Podcast. We're coming from you. Do your thing?
This is our first time we are ever coming to you live.
There it is. He likes to do
Coming
that.
to you. I've been wanting to say that for a long time. This is the first time I've ever actually had to do it. I've done it a few times, but we were never live. You had to correct me. I'm like, we're coming to you live. And you've gone, no, we're not live. But it sounds better.
Yeah.
And I finally get to say it. We're coming to you live.
All right, now you're starting to overdo it.
I know. I can't help it.
All right, that's enough. Anyway, we're coming from you live from Sullivan's Bar in Belleville, Illinois. It's a great little bar. Come down and check it out. I am your host, Marshall Hampton. With me today, again, is my co-host, best friend, Mr. Aaron Southworth.
Hello, everybody.
We did a little movie called Jason Goes to Hell.
A little movie.
The final Friday.
A little movie.
Yeah,
This is not a little movie. This is a
not.
big-time budget movie. We've done some other shit that's awful.
Yeah.
This is actually the one movie we've done that's a big movie.
Oh, that's why you say little, because it contradicts. It's a joke.
Okay, I get you. Trying to be
Jesus.
clever.
All right, before we jump into the movie, we have one thing to clear up. If you haven't followed us for a while, you know we're in the middle of our Horrible Horror March Movie Madness.
Our March Movie Madness.
We just finished the final four, so we are about to announce the finals of our movie matchup. So, final four, round one, we had Blood Valley beating The Wicked.
That was not a surprise.
Not a surprise.
Not a surprise. That
Blood
movie
Valley moving on.
is awful.
And in the final four, round two, or second bracket, we have Alice in Murderland beating Christmas Sleigh. So the finals will be...
So it's going to be C's Revenge against Alice in Murderland.
That is our finals.
That's our final.
That's the final.
All right. I'm in.
I'm disappointed.
Why?
I can't believe Alice in Murderland got this far. I know everybody hates it, but I stand by it, and it's...
Yeah.
In the fact it's so nonsensical, it's genius.
It's an awful, awful film.
All right. Anyway, moving on to the reason we're all here today. Jason Goes to Hell. This was released August 13th in 1993, the same year as the first Leprechaun movie.
Ah, okay.
So we have a little connection there. You can find it on Amazon, Vudu. Aaron, you found it?
I found it on Microsoft through the Xbox.
All right.
Yeah, it's not on YouTube.
It has a runtime, hour 27 minutes, so your average movie. Written by Jay Hughley, Adam Marcus, and Dean Lorey. Directed by Adam Marcus. Before you go into cast, which I might skip over some of the cast things that kind of expedite things today for the live show, I do want to mention, for any of you who's seen the cover of this movie, the Jason mask looks more like the mask from Jason X. It's all metallic.
It looks like stainless steel.
Yeah.
Or chrome.
Or chrome. Like,
yeah.
It looks like a new stainless steel, like appliance in a kitchen or something like that.
Right.
It has no bearing on this movie whatsoever.
None.
The mask looks nothing like that. So I don't know why it's on the cover. I will skip over the cast today. There's some good tidbits of information, but you guys can find it all on your own if you really want to. Just go to IMDb. You can find all the cast information there. So let's cannonball into the movie. That's what we're here for.
All right.
So we open with this woman driving to Crystal Lake, and she's pulling up to this really nice cabin-style house. It is not like your traditional Camp Crystal Lake cabin. It's like it is a nice actual house.
So she's driving up in a sweet convertible Toyota.
Yeah.
I think like a
Might be a little
Tercel.
barren. Who knows?
I don't
It might
know.
be a little
yeah,
barren.
I kind of like that. I thought that was pretty good.
But yeah, so it doesn't look anything like the other Camp Crystal Lake movies or houses there, because it's off by itself on like a hillside. We have a quick jump scare of her out in the shed getting some light bulbs, but basically she settles into the cabin. She decides to take a shower, and right as she steps into the shower, boom, the lights go out.
Something about this scene I kind of like too is that
yeah?
she's stripping off her clothes and she's got sweet long '90s butt. So
Well, and that's the thong she's wearing. It accentuates. It's like this long thong that like
it looks
really
like her
rides up on the
ass is
hip.
about a foot long.
It does. It really does.
And I don't know if that was just the way it looked, but I was watching it with my wife, and I was like, "That's '90s ass, big time." And she's just like, "Yeah, that's just a look." But man, when she's taking off her clothes, she's throwing out her hair. She's kind of sexing it up.
Yeah,
I mean, she's a pretty hot lady, and she's getting ready to take a shower. Boom, lights go off.
Oh, let me mention that real quick. That lady is actually Julia Michaels, and she starred opposite Patrick Swayze as Denise in Roadhouse.
She's Roadhouse?
That's Roadhouse.
That's Roadhouse,
That's
lady?
Roadhouse, really.
I didn't know that.
And besides being an actress, she has 50 credits as a stunt woman, which makes sense after you see this movie.
Because, keep going.
Well, basically, she did Rush Hour 3.
Well, no. Keep going with the scene.
All right, you want that? All right,
keep going with the scene.
All right, so she starts scanning the cabin from like the second floor balcony in the darkness. And
she's in a towel.
She's wrapped in a towel.
Mind you, she's wearing nothing but a towel.
That's true. And she sees nothing, so she turns to go back to the shower. But that's when motherfucking Jason Voorhees comes out of absolutely nowhere, and he's standing behind her. He swings at her with this machete. She dodges it, but her momentum takes her over the balcony. She falls to the first floor, crashing through a coffee table below.
So, mind you, she's wearing nothing
but a towel.
But a towel. Falls off the second-story balcony, crashes through a table. Towel still stays on.
Magically stays on.
And that's just the start.
Yeah, it is a start. But not missing a beat. She springs back up, and she books it out of the house and into the woods.
And she's running through the woods like she does CrossFit.
Oh, yeah. Like, just straight up, like Olympic
she's
sprinting.
a trail runner. She's sprinting through the woods, hopping over logs, towel, not missing a beat.
Nope.
Stays on her body the entire time.
And so, of course, Jason's stalking after her. And this is weird. I don't know about you, but this is like the first time I remember Jason actually making noises in a movie. Like, he's grunting.
He sounds
like a caveman.
He sounds like the Juggernaut when he's walking through the woods. Just boom, boom.
Yeah, but
boom.
he's actually making, like, vocal noises, which I don't remember any other Jason movie actually going. He's like, sounds like a goddamn caveman.
He's grunting. He's making noises. Yeah.
Which that just took me right out of the whole. It just didn't seem right. So the girl is hauling ass through the forest. And again, she's in the towel. And I gotta give props to this girl because she's running full speed, barefoot through the woods.
Nothing happening.
That would hurt my feet. I'm sorry. She comes to this clearing in the woods. She stops to look around. No sign of Jason. That is until he pops up right behind her, which, of course, makes zero sense.
None. Well, that's Jason.
Yeah, I know. That's what he does. He raises his machete, about to strike her. She screams. She falls out of frame. And holy shit, the clearing is suddenly lit up by a dozen portable lighting rigs. Maybe
she's running away. She stops. Jason's there, and then
boom, 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 boom.
Lights everywhere start coming
Busch
on.
Stadium.
And she does a ninja flip out of the way, and out of nowhere come about 20 or 30 GIs, all dressed in black. Go, go, go,
yeah,
go!
like SWAT team guys.
SWAT team guys. Guys are coming, and they start opening fire.
Yeah.
I mean, just pelting Jason with bullets. Just boom, 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 boom.
They
guys are coming out of trees. Guys are doing flips out of here. I'm not surprised there's guys on rocket packs coming out. It is ridiculous.
I would have loved to see a SWAT guy flying on a rocket
so
pack.
They're
just copious amounts of assault rifles
that
and shotgun.
motherfucker up.
Is
They're
being
just
blasted at Jason.
pumping him full of lead.
And he is literally being blown to pieces because a SWAT team,
it just tearing him apart.
A mortar shell actually comes in.
This is
you
the
hear
best.
a guy
they're shooting him, and he's going, ah! He's making noise,
and
which I hate.
A mortar shell.
And they go, incoming! And I don't know what the incoming was. Was it a grenade? Was it a bazooka? But it was basically a mortar shell
coming
coming
in. Round.
Comes up, boom! Jason's blown up.
Yeah.
Head flies off. That's the beginning.
And the whole time, there's this black cowboy watching from the shadows in this tree, and he just says to himself, I don't think so. What? What is he doing? Just hanging out in these woods. How does he even know this is going on?
Some dude in the woods smoking Black and Milds, just hanging out. I don't think so.
But so we see the girl in the towel again, and we learn that she's an FBI agent, Marcus, and obviously this was all some big elaborate FBI setup. And the camera shows Jason still beating heart, lying on the ground next to his blown off head. The heart comes to a stop, beats one more time, fades to black. You roll the opening credits, and during the opening credits, of those of you who listen to this and are here, you might notice that the special makeup effects were by K&B FX Group, which is Kurtzman, Nicotero, and Berger. Now, Nicotero is most famous nowadays for his work on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So Walking Dead guy did the special effect makeup for this movie. We go to the Federal Morgue in Youngstown, Ohio, is where we go to now.
So where is Crystal Lake located?
Well, we're going to come up on that. But
Okay.
it's mostly the East Coast.
Mostly the East Coast.
Well, that's like the general consensus. It's on the East Coast.
Okay.
So the coroner's wheeling in Jason's body into exam room, autopsy room, after being stopped by the security guards at a checkpoint. And you'll notice that one of the guards is played by Kane Hodder, who plays Jason.
Who plays
in this
Jason?
movie.
Yeah. Who's played Jason in several Friday
He's the
13th
most
movies.
famous Jason.
Right.
He's the most famous of all of them. So the coroner begins his autopsy. He unpacks all of Jason's body parts from the body bag. Just like, here's an arm, here's a leg, here's his torso.
He's running through, suffered, burns all over, gunshot wounds. He's doing
Yeah,
his
he says
medical
over
dictionary.
100
Yeah.
bullet wounds. He's got skunk hair. He's got like the black with like this one white stripe right down his head.
Do you know who this guy? He's in Rocky V.
His name's Richard Gant.
He plays the Don King character in Rocky V.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I love that guy.
So,
Yeah.
so we have this loaded up. We have some video here
Yeah,
for people.
yeah.
But out mind-blowingly nonsensical, what happens is that he sees Jason's heart in like this Rubbermaid Tupperware dish for some reason, and he stares at it, and he looks like he's having like this deep, intimate conversation with it, but he's just staring at
He's
it.
staring at it like, I'm on a diet and I don't want to eat that donut. He's like,
Yeah, he kind of is.
I don't know.
But-
But then he goes for it, and so here he goes.
He eats the heart.
Let's show it.
Well,
Here it
we'll
is.
show it for the people in the audience, but for those listening, he eats the fucking heart.
See, do we have the volume? Let's see.
Okay, there
He's
we
going
go.
for it.
Eating the heart,
Ah.
and it's like this black viscous stuff just coming out of the heart. He's chomping all away on it.
He just can't stop.
He cannot. And eventually, like all this more black viscous, like comes out of his mouth, like he spits it up.
But
and
that was it.
and he starts growling like a bear too, and that like he's making these weird like bear noises.
We had audio, everyone. We had audio, and apparently we're experiencing technical difficulties because we had audio and
All
now
right.
it's gone. Well, we'll fix it later.
So after he eats the heart, suddenly all this energy, like these energy light bulbs, start flying out of Jason's corpse, like shooting around, like
Being
I don't know
absorbed into his body.
Yeah, and they fly into the coroner's body. We're in the first 10 minutes of this movie, and I'm like, what is happening? What is going on? This is supposed to be Friday the 13th. But so this other medical examiner, he's bringing in pizza for some reason, which I don't know why they'd allow food in an autopsy room, because that's just kind of gross. And so he enters the room, and he just is basically immediately killed by the possessed coroner. He lifts him off the ground with one hand by the back of his neck, slams him face first onto the exam table, and then impales him through the head with like this long two-pronged probe.
So I think I got the audio fixed
All
to
right.
kind of show you that scene.
Oh, there we go. There we go. And
Sweeps across the
body.
body.
Jason's body's off the table. And boom, probe into the head. The best part is when he like, lifts the face off, it's like the grated, there we go, where the face like coming through the grate.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So basically the coroner just walks away, and as he passes the stainless steel, like some kind of reflective surface, you see the reflection of Jason instead of what should be the coroner.
So this is your hint that Jason is now inhabiting the bodies of the dead, or
Exactly.
inhabiting the bodies of the people he possesses.
Exactly.
So it's not the people anymore, it's now Jason.
Yeah,
And this, I gotta say, this pissed me off so much. I'm a
same here.
kid, 1993, I'm 14 years old. I am fucking ecstatic that I'm gonna go see a Friday 13th movie in the theater. I'm sneaking in. I'm not 17, I don't care. My parents will help me get in. I'm gonna go see my first Friday 13th movie in theater. I'm gonna see Jason wreck some shit. And what do I see? Multiple different.
You
He
have-
starts possessing.
exactly.
I
What
don't
did we
see
see?
Jason.
What do we see in
I
this
don't
movie?
see
That's
Jason.
the question.
It just pisses me off.
So you
so
actually
much.
saw this in the theater when it came
Yeah,
out? See,
yeah.
I didn't get a chance to do that. So we're going to skip ahead just a little bit to American Case Files, which is a fictional show that's basically a cross between America's Most Wanted and Dateline or 60 Minutes type thing.
Kind of reminded me of like an Inside Edition.
Yeah.
I think Inside Edition in
It's
the 90s.
not something you would see on like Investigation Discovery. Like
If anybody remembers Inside Edition, that was pretty hot. It was kind of like that.
So the host, Robert Campbell, is talking about Jason and the recent events at the federal morgue where 3 more people were murdered and the coroner's gone missing. Now, according to the show, Jason was born in 1946 to parents Pamela and Elias Voorhees, and Jason is credited with 83
Confirmed kills.
murders
Or with scores more.
that are suspected.
Yeah.
1946, and this is 93. He's Jason, old man.
He's Jason older than my dad.
Yeah, he's an old man in this. So the main segment of this show is the interview with bounty hunter Creighton Duke, who is the black cowboy we saw lurking in the woods. And Campbell says that they were allowed inside Duke's private bounty hunter training ground, which looks like a fucking prison.
So he's one of the most famous bounty hunters ever.
He's like Boba Fett, the modern day, I guess.
I don't
know.
remember ever hearing about a famous bounty hunter.
Except for Dog, the bounty hunter.
Yeah, well, I guess we kind of missed that. So maybe they were ahead of their time.
Maybe,
you know.
yeah.
This is like the Black Dog.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, the cowboy.
Except he catches like badasses.
He's known for catching
he
serial killers.
He doesn't catch crackheads. He catches
Serial
fucking serial
killers,
killers.
yeah.
Like hardcore serial killers.
Yeah.
So this is our first introduction to Duke, and anytime Duke's on the screen, he's fucking gold. So let's just listen to a little bit about what Duke has going on.
Yeah, we're gonna play the interview part where it's oh god, what he says.
And I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
Okay.
You ready?
You.
Jason Voorhees.
Well, that makes me think of a little girl in a pink dress. Taking a hot dog to it, don't you?
What? What? Where do you get that from?
What do you think of Jason? The body he's wearing? It's me. Boy knows how.
So he's basically setting up the movie.
Yeah.
Other people's bodies like folks wear suits.
How does he know this?
This is still mighty
How is he the only man in the world that has this information? And where does he get it from?
Jason Voorhees.
So,
Something you and I have never seen before.
So the true Jason Voorhees is something you and I have never seen before.
Exactly.
So basically, this is the 9th movie.
yes,
This is the 9th
This
movie
is
in the
ninth.
franchise. So we've had 9.
Yeah.
Fucking 9.
But we've never seen this before.
And he's always worn a goddamn hockey mask.
Yep.
He's always cruised around Crystal Lake, slicing motherfuckers
well,
up.
except for when he took a trip to New York.
Oh, that's true. That's true. He did.
But,
he did
so-
take a voyage. But basically, now this guy, he's got the inside scoop.
Yeah.
No one else knows.
I don't understand
Except
how
for
that
Duke
happens.
the bounty hunter out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So after the interview, Campbell says that since the interview was recorded, there have been 5 more Jason-style killings on a straight path from Youngstown, Ohio to Crystal Lake. And he also says that Campbell then says, I'm going to pay Duke's requested fee to stop and catch Jason, which Duke wants $500,000 to hunt down and catch Jason.
Which is pretty bad.
So we cut to this waitress who's turning off a TV in the back of this diner, and where she was watching the show American Case Files.
Yeah.
And this diner's having a 2-for-1 Jason is dead burger sale, where they're making the burgers look like hockey masks, or at least trying to.
Yeah.
This waitress we follow is Diana, and we've also met this other waitress named Vicky, and this really fat, loud, obnoxious owner, Joey B, who is actually a woman in this, and besides them, there's Joey's husband, and who's like a midget compared to her.
All right. So has anybody ever seen Pink Flamingos?
No.
John Waters movie, Pink Flamingos. She looks like Divine. She looks like a female Divine, which is pretty hilarious. So if you haven't seen it, check it out.
And there's also the cook, which is their son. And Duke happens to be at this diner, and he stops Diana and basically says he's going to kill Jason, and that Jason's coming for her.
I've also got that clip if you want to run that. As well.
Yeah, we might run a little bit, but let's go ahead and let's
Yeah,
get that set. While you get that set up, I will. So basically, he goes on to basically harass Diana and her boyfriend, the sheriff, who just happens to show up too, and walk in on the conversation.
here it is.
Oh, you got it?
I know who you really are. What's the problem here? Oh, I was just making your girlfriend there a little proposition, Chief, and he's thinking it over. Right now? Well, get up. Why don't you love me, Chief?
Damn.
What? He tells the sheriff to blow him. The sheriff swings at Duke at this time, who catches his fist.
Well, now, see, she is only your lady because she ain't had a taste of the dick yet.
And then he harasses his girlfriend some more.
I don't think you really know who I am. I know who you are. The last thing we need around here is some freak old bounty that is causing trouble. I want you out of this town. I want you out now. Now that is.
So everybody knows who Duke is.
Yeah.
All right, so we know who you are, Duke. You're the freako bounty hunter.
I guess he's the dog of 1993
I
or whatever
guess
this
so.
is.
And I do love this scene because Duke isn't doing shit. He's just trying to talk to her, trying to get her to, be part of his mission.
Yeah.
The cop comes over, and yeah, Duke's being a dick. There's no doubt about it. Duke's a dick.
Duke
Why don't
is
you
an
blow me?
ass throughout
At
the
same
whole
time,
movie.
There's nothing illegal about telling a cop to blow you. They might be pissed off, but he tries to punch him, and then he arrests him
Yeah.
for basically being a dick.
Yeah.
So free speech out the window. Man, it's tough being a black bounty hunter.
I could.
It's tough. It's tough.
So anyway, Duke he's escorted out, but not before telling Diana one more time that Jason is coming for her and her daughter. So once Duke is gone, Diana sits down next to this guy named Steven, who's kind of like a scrawny, nerdy guy in the movie, but somewhere still wears like a Letterman's jacket, so he's a nerdy jock.
All
Or
right,
something.
don't sweep Steven away. Steven's the fucking hero.
Yeah, I'm not
Steven-
sweeping him away. I just don't
You're
understand what
playing
he's
him
supposed
down.
to be.
Yes, he's scrawny. Yes, he wears a Letterman jacket like he's 12. Yes, he has gold rimmed glasses, but he's our hero, Marshall.
He's got giant glasses.
giant.
But
Jesus.
So we turn out that Steven is Diana's daughter's ex-boyfriend. So with that said, I want to briefly talk about Diana and her daughter, because for those of you who have seen the movie and just watched the clips, to me, Diana looks like she's maybe in her 30s, early
Late
40s.
30s,
Yeah.
late 30s, early 40s.
Not that
There
old.
she is. I mean, if you can see her right here on the screen, this is her right here. That's her. She does not look
that old. So when he
that
says
old.
her daughter, I'm like, oh, and she's gonna have like a toddler or like a baby, but that Steven's the ex-boyfriend's like, holy shit, what's happening?
Right.
So she seems to be, and her daughter turns out to be like in her 20s or 30s. So unless Diana is in her 50s, she looks like she got pregnant when she was like 10. The age gap is awful in
It's
this movie.
pretty brutal.
It makes no
So
sense.
she's a grandmother.
Yeah. Sometimes her daughter looks older than she is
Yeah.
in this movie. So she tells Steven to come to her house tonight at 11. And we cut to Steven driving. He's rocking out to some really bad generic pop music, which I kind of love in a way.
Yeah, me too.
And he stops to pick up 3 hitchhikers, 2 girls and a guy. Now, he drives them to good old Camp Crystal Lake. Because you can't have Friday the 13th movie without the obligatory Camp Crystal Lake scene. So one of the girls is like hitting on him and tries to get Steven to stay with her instead of going off. But he's like, no, he declines. He drives away.
Right.
So the campers, they go swimming. They all strip down by the fire. And the guy and the brunette girl, they head off into the tent to have sex, leaving the other girl alone, who's basically put on his flannel shirt to just fend for herself.
So yeah, she basically says, you guys have fun. Fuck your brains out in the tent. I'm going to sleep under the stars.
Yeah. So she sleeps in a sleeping bag just outside.
She's all about just,
roughing it, really roughing
it. And she seems happy about this.
Yeah, but
she's smiling and giggling. If you and your lady were going to take a tent and I had to sleep on the I'd be kind of pissed.
I don't blame you. I'd be
Honestly.
pissed too.
Yeah, but she's totally cool with this.
But for some reason, she just gets up and wanders away from the fire and just into the dark woods for no reason whatsoever. It's like she doesn't.
The reason she had to take a piss.
No, that's the other girl who takes a piss.
No, she takes a piss.
They both take a piss?
They both-
All right,
That's the thing, because I was watching this and I was like, man, these girls must have raging UTIs. If they just can't stop and, that's all they're doing is just taking
All right,
pisses
so
the whole
so
time.
there you go. She goes off to take a piss. She hears the sounds of twigs breaking, and right as she turns around to see what's causing noise, she's attacked by the possessed skunked head coroner.
By Black Jason.
Black Jason.
Black
now.
Jason has now come out, and Black Jason is killing.
And he basically kills her by slashing her several times with like a scalpel.
It's the most delicate, dainty Jason kill I've ever seen in my life.
It really
He's
is.
holding a scalpel between his finger and his thumb, and he's slicing delicately her ribbons. And mind you, she's 10 feet away from the tent. 10 feet away.
Yeah, she's not that
and
far
she's
away.
not screaming. She's not doing anything. They don't hear a thing.
Well, they're too busy getting it on.
I understand they're getting it on.
They're going to Pound Town. They're too busy.
They're too busy on a trip to Pound Town.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back in the tent, like I said, other two are going on. But she stops. She's like, "Oh, I need to go leave the tent to go get a condom."
She says, "Let's get a rubber," and he's like, "I don't like those things."
But she leaves the tent to have to go get one. I'm like,
well,
why?
because
Anyway.
she said he's got one,
And she
she's
takes
gonna
a
take
piss, too.
Yeah, which she does.
Which doesn't fucking matter because they don't decide to use the condom anyway. They just toss it away and they start going to town.
They had zero care. for
zero
safe
kills
sex.
for why even get the condom in the first place. But it's a pretty good sex scene for those of you who are into that. Now outside, the coroner steps on the condom, which makes me wonder how in the hell did it get out there in the first place? Because they're
tossed
in
it
the
out there.
tent. They don't toss it out there. They're in the tent. It makes no sense how the condom got outside the tent.
Regardless.
So the girl's on top, and she is in full-on grinding mode when we see Black Jason pick up some sort of like metal pole or spike. It's some really weird-looking thing.
I don't know what it was.
I have no idea what it was. It wasn't a tent spike, that's for sure.
Was it was it like an army shovel?
No, it wasn't an army shovel. It almost looked like something you put a sign
road
to.
sign?
Yeah.
I don't know what it
No
was.
fucking clue.
But we got the kill queued up.
So
let's let her rip.
I will let her rip. It's a great kill, but as soon as the girl basically finishes coming, she is done. We have this. Here we go. All right, good old Deborah here. Wham! Impaled through the chest. Blood sprays all over the poor sap underneath her, who's still probably inside of her at this point. Black Jesus. I almost said Black Jesus. Black Jason. Black Jason rips the pole upwards and just splits her torso in half.
Completely in half.
And rips the tent open in the process. So
it's pretty graphic. It's
yeah.
probably one of the best kills
It's one
in
of
the movie.
Yeah. The camera cuts away while the guy screams, and we just see the coroner walking away and trying not to trip over a sleeping bag in the
So
process.
I'm just getting pervy here for a minute.
All right, you want to get pervy?
Could you just imagine how that feels? She's climaxing. He's on top.
She probably would have had to tighten up really
I
bad
would've
with that.
like,
Yeah,
you know,
that would have
just-
been a tightening thing.
Yikes!
But
Yikes!
so we have no idea what happens to the guy. But here's a quick note on the couple, Michael B. Silver and Michelle Clooney, not spelled or related to George.
These are the actors and actresses.
Yeah, the actresses who play Luke and Deborah in the film. They were actually a couple in real life, but broke up shortly before they were cast in this movie. So it was really awkward for them having to do this sex scene because they just broken up right before they did this.
There was something about that sex scene when I was watching. I was like, because I've seen this movie a couple times
Yeah.
preparing for this. He looks so proud. He looks so proud to be getting laid. It's like I'm always happy when I'm getting laid, but he looked like there was just a little something extra.
Yeah.
That gives me so much more insight into that. That's hilarious.
We go back to the diner, and it's closed now. Diana's taking out a metal buffet tray with a pet bull in it, some stray dog that's out behind the diner. And we see the Black Jason watching from the shadows, just lurking around. She loads up the tray with ice from an outside ice box and then bumps into this other deputy who just happens to show up there. And Diana, she heads back into the diner as the deputy's girlfriend, I guess, or mistress, who knows, pulls up. They go to get in their car. She's about to leave. Coroner comes up, kills the woman by crushing her head in the car door.
Yeah.
It looks bad though. It's not
Yeah,
very. It's
yeah,
not a very
very
good kill.
great.
But kills her right off the bat, and the camera cuts away again, so we don't know what happens to the actual deputy at this time. And we cut to this house. And outside the house, there's a mailbox that says Voorhees on it.
All right, so this is the Voorhees house.
Yeah.
We've never seen the Voorhees. Never has there been any inkling of a Voorhees
No.
house. There's been, again, 8 movies before.
I was gonna get on this later, but they do so much of almost combine Halloween into this movie. That the Michael Myers house and stuff with family that comes up later. It's what is fucking happening?
And guess
in this
what?
movie?
The Voorhees live in a pretty nice house. It's a little dilapidated, might need a shave and a haircut, but I would buy that in an instant.
Yeah, it's
I'm
an
actually
excellent-
in the market right now. Me and my wife are looking, and that is a prime piece of real estate.
But here's but for those of you who are real sticklers for details and want to find something odd, the mailbox out front that says Voorhees on it is spelled with only one O. Well, in every other movie in this series, and even the credits of this movie, Jason Voorhees is spelled Voorhees. It has 2 O's, but they fucked it up and put 1 O on the mailbox. So they just completely get rid of all their past lore and movies.
Oh, I got another piece of beautiful continuity when we get to it, though.
All right, so inside we see the coroner sharpening like the straight razor on like a leather strap.
This is so retarded.
It is a ridiculous scene. And the deputy is strapped to a dining room table.
Naked.
And what happens next is just fucking bonkers. It's Jason, the possessed coroner. He puts down the razor and applies shaving cream to the deputy's neck and his face. And he picks up the razor
I'm
and
gonna set it up a little bit better. The deputy's butt ass naked, cut down with leather, like held down with leather straps, and there's a roaring romantic fire in the background. And then you have this large black man above him sharpening a razor.
like a strip of rawhide or something.
What is going on?
He gives the deputy a shave.
He
shaves him.
He puts he has the beaver tail brush.
Yeah, he shaves the
Gets
deputy.
him ready, takes off the mustache in 3 flawless strokes.
And then,
it's excellent, honestly.
Make it even weirder, the coroner starts opening his mouth and leaning down towards the deputy like he's going in for what would be a really wet, slobbery kiss.
Yeah.
And then it just fades to black.
He's into some bondage shit,
That's
man.
all you see.
He's into some
what is going on?
Some pretty hard bondage stuff.
So we fade in on Diana's house with her rushing to answer the phone, and it's her daughter Jessica calling to tell her that she's with her new boyfriend, who turns out to be Robert Campbell, the host of American Case Files. And daughter, like I said earlier, she looks as old, if not older, than the mother. And she has her baby with her, who the baby in this scene has absolutely no hair. It's bald as bald can be.
I want to see if I can't find that really quick.
Well, if you find
there
it, I'm going to keep
All
going.
right. So here is the baby.
All right, well, Aaron's loading that up.
So look at the baby really quick.
Yeah.
The baby is bald. Baby is an infant.
Bald as bald
baby
can be.
is maybe 6 months old, maybe more.
I'm horrible at age with babies, but
I don't have any
it's
babies,
bald.
so yeah.
So we cut back to the clean, freshly shaven deputy now, who's walking down the sidewalk, and he's looking possessed. There's something off with this guy. And we find out that Steven is the baby's father while Diana's on the phone talking to her daughter. The deputy sneaks up behind Diana, grabs her. They struggle. Diana happens to glance in the mirror and sees Jason's reflection in place of the deputy's reflection.
Yeah.
And the deputy tries to kill Diana, but she manages to pull out a gun and shoot him in the head. Right in the head. She goes to leave, but gets grabbed by the deputy, who, of course, isn't dead from the bullet to the head. He mounts her, forces her mouth open, and again leans down close to her face.
And I think we got that here, too.
And this is where we're treated to the motherfucking demon worm.
Yeah. And I think
Let that sink in for you people listening. Demon worm in a Friday the 13th movie.
It's pretty bad. So I think I just missed the demon worm. But,
Yeah, you missed it.
Yeah, let's go back a little bit. I think we got it here. She just shot him. He's lying on the ground dead. Looking like everything's ready to go. Ready to take off. And he springs back to life.
Bam, eyes open. Down it goes.
Now I did like the effect, a little bit of blood leaking out the side of his head.
That was a good effect. How it dripped out the bullet hole. There we go. Forces the mouth open. And down comes. At first it looks like a long black tongue. It's like Gene Simmons or something like that, trying to give her a kiss. But that's all you see. That's the first shot of Demon Worm. And God help us all with Demon Worm.
And Demon Worm, there he is in its full effect. So Demon Worm is Jason.
Fucking hate Demon Worm.
So we'll
Demon Worm ruins this movie. So a goddamn worm comes out and it tries to spit in her mouth. Steven shows up just in time to tackle the deputy off Danny, which those of you here just saw that. And the two of them struggle with Steven being tossed around like a rag doll at the end. The deputy grabs a knife, throws it into Diana's back. She basically dies.
So I got a question for you.
All right, head away. Shoot.
You have got... Okay, so Black Jason. Black Jason, that was earlier. He's a big dude.
He's a big dude.
He's a big guy. There's a scene earlier where he's actually next to Kane Hodder, the guy who
Are
actually
you going to ask why
Jason.
he changed his body?
Why the fuck would you change
Well,
into this
that is a
skinny,
good
like
question.
chubby, older guy? Like, you're a bigger, stronger Jason. And now you
totally
switch
agree.
bodies and And apparently he doesn't like mustaches.
No.
So he shaves off.
Jason does not like facial hair.
Why would you make that leap?
That is a good point. Very good question. That will be answered later in the movie.
I still don't think it's valid.
It's a
don't like
bullshit
it.
reason,
It's a
but they
bullshit
do
reason.
address it, and we'll get to it later.
I hate it.
So basically, Steven takes advantage of the split second, and he sees Jason in the reflection of the mirror, and as he impales the body of the deputy with a fire poker through the chest, the deputy stumbles around and crashes out through the window. Steven rushes back to Diana, who dies in his arms right as the sheriff comes in. So he's like, oh shit, they're going to think I did it. Steven tries to explain what happened, but of course no one's going to believe that story, because
Right.
who would? And Steven gets arrested for the murder, taken to police station. The next day, Jessica, the daughter, arrives at Diana's house to find Vicky, for some reason, scrubbing the blood out of the living room carpet, which I don't understand why Vicky would be in the first place. Scrubbing, like, why is she just walking to Diana's house? Does she have and they hug for some reason. So we see Vicky. When we see Vicky has the baby, it cuts to a close-up of the baby, which we're about to show, and it's a completely different baby than we just saw.
The baby has grown.
Look at that.
The baby
It's
has
got a
grown.
full head of hair.
The baby has grown like months. The baby is so much older now.
I know. So, a baby to baby, that would be awesome.
So this is literally a day.
It's been like a day.
It's like a day later.
Not even a day. It's like 12 hours.
Right.
It's like the next
and the
morning.
baby has now gone from bald, like an infant,
Yeah.
to almost a toddler.
Yeah.
To, yeah.
So, I do want to say, while we're talking about Vicky, I want to say I do like Vicky in this movie. I actually wish she was the main girl of this movie. I wish there was more of her.
Vicky was the gal cleaning up the blood.
Yeah,
So,
I liked Vicky. So we cut to the police station where Steven sees Jessica in passing as he's being led down, escorted to a holding cell. And Jessica passes the baby off to Vicky, who is basically going to babysit while I guess Jessica takes care of all the police questioning and all that
Right.
stuff going on. So back in the holding cell, we learn that Creighton Duke is in the holding cell next to Steven. And Duke continues to be a giant asshole. I mean, he's just a dick in
He's
this movie.
a dick to everyone.
He tells Steven basically that if he wants to know the trick to killing Jason, he has to pay a price. But I don't think you want to pay it.
I don't think you want to pay.
It's a high price. And what is that price, you may ask? Well, it is Duke breaking your fucking fingers.
Duke doesn't need money.
No.
Duke doesn't need favors.
No.
Duke needs broken fingers.
That's what Duke needs.
Duke needs. Duke is a sick fuck.
He is.
Duke is a sick fuck.
And I don't understand why he's such a dick. Like, why does he just tell people this stuff? But no.
And,
So-
and it's like, why doesn't he ask for money?
Yeah.
He seems like he needs $500,000 to hunt down Jason. But instead of, he's going to give away information for broken bones.
yeah. I mean, that is sadistic. That's sick.
I don't
I mean,
don't get
that's
that
the
one.
sign of a serial killer right there.
Yeah, that's pretty, it's pretty
So I guess it's like it takes one to know one. Like if you want to hunt a
Yeah, I
serial killer, you
guess,
get a
I
serial.
guess,
It's
yeah.
like what Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
You want to get Buffalo Bill? Let's get another serial killer. I don't know. So Duke eventually he tells Steven that Jason needs to be reborn. Oh, I skipped ahead. He says that the only way to kill Jason is to destroy his heart. And now that Diana is dead, there's only one person who can do it, her daughter, Jessica. And this is where I'm like, holy shit, this is where they're really starting to, like, merge Friday the 13th with, like, the Halloween series.
Right.
Like, why is all the family stuff being brought into this
So
now?
apparently all those movies you saw before, 1 through 8,
Yeah.
they've never killed Jason. And I give you that. They never actually have killed him.
Right.
They've stopped him. They've paused him. They've slowed him down.
Put him in a hibernation, I guess. for a while.
Sure, but the only way to kill Jason is through another Voorhees.
Yeah.
So we find out that he has a sister. He's got a niece.
Yeah, I mean, this
apparently.
is straight up like Halloween shit. Like Laurie Strode,
I don't
Michael
know.
Myers. It is fucking bullshit.
And if
Like,
Jason
where they're going
knew
with
this stuff before, wouldn't he say, "You know what? I should probably go kill my sister"?
Yeah, like they should have done this like
I
long
should have
time
done this a
ago.
long time ago.
Yeah.
I gotta wait till she's
No, but I keep killing these stupid counselors over and over again. But I should be killing my family. Like,
right.
It makes no
yeah,
sense.
and it's like I gotta wait for my 38-year-old. What's that?
Jason kind of slow or retarded?
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, he was like mentally
we
ill.
have, we have someone from the
number
crowd
2.
saying that who brought up a great point. He is retarded.
Yeah, he was retarded in the first movie.
Jason is mentally slow, so if I'm offending anyone with retarded, sorry, but yeah, he's retarded.
He also tells Steven that Jason needs to be reborn. That these bodies he's possessing can't handle Jason's power, so he must be reborn using the body of a Voorhees, and only by the hands of a Voorhees can he die.
So he has to
What
transition.
the shit?
He has to retransition from a
giant maniacal killer to.
I'm sorry, I love Black Jason. Okay, Jason Voorhees, a black man, was awesome. He was probably my favorite one. The bodies he's possessed. He's a big dude. He's a big, strong guy. So he can't handle that. So he has to morph back into a moldy, decaying Jason corpse to maintain.
Yeah. You would think he.
That doesn't make sense.
No,
So,
but basically the answer is he. To answer your question is like he has to hop bodies. I think they touch on it later, but
Before
basically
he can
because
become-
the normal bodies can't handle the power that Jason possesses. The bodies will like deteriorate or fail him, so he has to keep hopping.
Damn.
Is basically what it lead to. But the final bomb that Duke drops is saying that Jason had a sister. That sister being Diana, who was just killed. What? That is a hell of an age gap because Jason was born in 1946, according to this.
Right.
And she's like in her late 30s.
Oh no! She's got to be 50 or 60.
Well, yeah, but
according to reality,
that is crazy. So now we have the Laurie Strode of the Friday the 13th series brought in here. Steven managed to escape the holding cell by tricking one of the deputies by playing up my fingers are broken, come help me. But for having 2 broken fingers, he sure is able to hold that gun fairly well in his left hand. He has no problem holding things or using it left hand with 2 broken fingers. And he locks the deputy in the cell and he runs off. Where he goes to the diner where Vicky brings the baby to work while she does her shift. And they put the baby in a box, basically, in the back room. Like, here you go, let's put him in a cardboard box, he'll be fine.
Can I just show you a picture of the worst parents ever? Or the worst? I mean, this is probably... I just want to pull this up really quick.
All right, you do that. I'm going to keep going. But Joey B pulls out a handgun from underneath the counter and gets on the phone to call the police saying that Steven has escaped with a gun. So like he's on his way here.
So here we're showing really quick. I'm not a parent, but I know that if I had a child who could probably move around and do things, I would not put them in a Del Monte
It's
box.
like a tomato box.
On the edge of a counter.
Yeah.
Where they could probably fall out or climb around.
Look at that. Fucking Del Monte. So,
Okay, see you later, baby. I'm leaving.
bye-bye. Take care.
What the fuck? What are you doing? Luckily, Steve's there.
Yeah, Steven shows up. He's in the back diner.
Yeah, he's there to like save the baby's life.
Yeah. So he comes out and he talks to the baby. He's talking to the baby, but he's interrupted by the cook, the son.
Wade
or Ward or something like that.
Ward.
And he basically the cook just ends up giving Steven his car and says, here, take it and go.
So Steve is a regular at the diner that he knows.
It's a small town, so everybody knows about it. And now we got a train going by in the background. This is going to be awesome.
We are live.
We are live. So enjoy that audio effect in your eardrums. So Steven is entering the old Voorhees house now, which again looks a lot like Halloween entering the Michael Myers house. Yeah. And in the house, I'm going to wait for the train a little bit because all right.
Keep going. It's going to be a while, baby.
All right. Steven in the house finds the motherfucking Necronomicon from the Evil Dead movies, which is just sitting on an antique washstand.
So we have Steven entering the house. He's looking around. He's checking out the Voorhees house. He wants to find what's going on, and he finds the Necronomicon. Okay,
yeah.
For any horror fan, this is from Evil Dead.
This
is from the Evil Dead series.
This is like the Bible for horror movies, almost.
It is
like
the Book of the Dead, bound by human flesh, but for some reason. And it has no relevance whatsoever to Friday the 13th.
No.
And for some reason, there it is.
It's in the Voorhees house.
There it is.
He even flips through the pages of the book, and it's like the same thing from Evil Dead. It's like, what is happening?
Never has this ever crossed
That
over
is
realms
insane.
whatsoever. So we're crossing.
We're crossing the streams.
We are.
We are seriously crossing
We are.
streams here.
We are.
So he hears someone coming, so he hides in his closet, but the floor gives out beneath him, and he crashes through the wooden floorboards, but he narrowly catches himself from falling into the basement.
I have a problem with this house too. The house must be made of Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Because people fall through the floorboard. I mean, I'm not giving you a big spoiler, but
This
it's just
house
like, people
is
fall through the
insane.
floor all the fucking time here, or the floor is always breaking.
The house is nuts. It's bunk. So in comes Robert Campbell, and he's on his portable phone. He's talking to the producer about how he's going to dress at the Voorhees house, and he wants to hide body parts in the fridge, etc., etc. So he tells the producer that he stole Diana's body and hid it in the closet, then went home and fucked her daughter. So this guy stole his girlfriend's dead mother's body from a morgue. I wish he would have shown how he pulls that trick off. How do you what?
I love this guy. He's walking around. This is a classic late 80s, early 90s Wall Street douchebag.
Yeah,
he's got the suspenders on. He's throwing his coat. Yeah, you guys what? When we bring our cameras in, they're gonna find the dead mother or the dead mother of my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then I went home and fucked her daughter.
And
Damn.
So
Damn. Ratings must be important.
So suddenly the possessed deputy bursts in behind Robert and he pins him to the table and he passes the demon worm onto or into Robert via mouth to mouth.
It's pretty close. It's
Yeah.
They can really get in there.
And we get an epic death scene because the deputy then begins to melt into a puddle of goo as soon as the demon worm has been spit up into Robert Campbell's
This is probably one
mouth.
of the best effects in the whole movie.
Yeah, we're gonna show this. It's a little lengthy but it's well worth the view. And the actor is hamming it up. He is committing to this. Look at it. Sorry for you guys listening at home with this, but this is a visual thing here. But you're gonna have to bear with us.
Mind you,
Face sticks to the wall,
jaw off.
and then he does this weird modern dance interpretations. I don't know what he's doing here, but some kind of weird. I don't know what you call that dance move, but
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So-
But mind you, this guy was also shot in the head.
Shot in the head.
Through the head.
Through the head.
Stabbed through the heart, and he still has time to do interpretive dance.
yeah,
Pretty good.
exactly. So while the deputy is okay, we already talked about that. When he bumps into the wall, which he knocks loose Diana's body, which falls on top of Steven, slides down him, and falls away into the basement. And yet somehow Steven manages to keep himself from falling when a 150-pound woman, limp, dead body, just falls on top of him.
You think she weighs 150 pounds?
I don't know. She looks tall. I'm trying to think average weight for maybe she's 5'7". She's thin, but I don't know.
All right.
So anyway, Robert's newly possessed body springs up from the table, walks out. We cut to Jessica getting ready to take a shower. She gets in the shower. She's crying a bit.
More 90s long butt.
Yeah, and we see a hand reach out and cut the power to her place. And in the darkness, she makes her way to the garage where she grabs a hammer and for some reason gets into her car. And
Yeah, this is weird. So the power gets cut, and instead of searching around inside the house for a flashlight or to see if other light switches work or anything like that, she goes into the garage, into the car, into the glove box to grab the flashlight.
is that what they get?
That's what she's doing.
Okay.
That's what she's doing. She's
All right.
going
Because
into
she
the
gets
garage,
out of the car again.
into
I
the
thought she was
car,
like, if you can get in the car,
because she
drive
grabs a
away.
flashlight.
Yeah.
She grabs a flashlight and gets out.
All right, that's
she I don't keep my flashlight in my car.
Neither do I.
I keep one.
I mean, some people keep a little one in their armor.
Yeah,
That's smart,
okay,
but yeah.
fair enough. But at the same time, if the power goes out, I go to my kitchen and my shitty utility. Everyone's got that fucking drawer in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's just batteries and pot holders and bullshit and duct
it's the
tape
junk
and
drawer. It's the
nails.
junk
Yeah,
drawer.
yeah. And my flashlight's right there.
So, in the brake light, she bumps the brake, and we see in the brake lights behind the car, Robert standing behind her.
Yeah.
And Jessica gets out of the car. She gets grabbed by Robert, who is also growling like a bear.
Yeah.
And Steven shows up, of course, just in the nick of time, like he always does. Knocks Robert off Jessica, grabs Jessica, runs out of the house, forces her into the car, basically kidnaps her.
I do kind of like this scene. I do think it's pretty awesome. I do kind of want to watch it.
Okay, I don't think we can't show the entire movie.
I know, but at the same time, this is a pretty awesome scene.
So, yeah, of course, she's not wanting to go with him. She's putting up a fight.
So,
she's like,
yeah,
what's
sorry,
going on?
I missed it there. So yeah, he's trying to tongue her, doing the whole thing. He fights him off. One punch, mind you.
One punch.
One punch has now taken Jason away.
Throws her over his shoulder, just runs off with her. It's...
You get to see a little bit more butt. There it is. Throws her in the car, and they're getting ready to take off.
And
He
then,
looks pissed.
bam! Robert punches through the window, tries to grab Steven. He backs away. And then he is going to run him over with his car. Which, for those of you watching, you can see this.
So have you noticed that Steven has lost his glasses?
He does. He loses glasses
He
like halfway
loses
through the movie, and
glasses.
he's completely fine. He's
Yeah.
like, why is he wearing them in the first place? And then for good measure, he backs up over Robert's body and just drives away.
Look at the size of that car. That is an 80s.
It's the type of car you would
heavy-
have driven in high school.
I had a Buick Riviera.
Yeah, but I mean, it's that style. It's like a big old box car.
So, yeah, that has crushed his body, ran over his pelvis. He's got to be shattered.
Yeah.
Shattered.
Exactly.
Just
yeah.
broken.
Nope, he's fine. So Jessica is yelling at him to pull over. She's demanding answers. So Steven does, and he tries to explain to her what happened. She hesitates. She's really hesitant to believe him, and he starts thinking he's gotten through to her. But then she decides to suddenly punch him in the balls, shove him out of the car, drive over it, slide over to the driver's seat, and drive away.
I love it. Because I'm really proud of her. So often women are portrayed in horror movies as being like the damsel in distress. And she does such an amazing job being like, okay, yeah. And he's like, all right. Wham! Dick punch, smashes his head into the steering wheel, pushes him out like a little bitch, and
Yeah.
she takes off.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So we next see Jessica burst into the sheriff's office, followed by two other deputies.
Okay, this is a small town police
Small town.
station. This place is gigantic.
It is.
It's so big.
It is.
This police station is huge.
She's ranting and raving, trying to tell them about Steven. The sheriff he sends out a deputy to go pick up Steven along the road. And it's the same one that he tricked earlier.
They're like buddies. They're buddies.
Yeah, like I said, they're friends outside of this.
It's a small town, but apparently they have the biggest station in all three counties, I guess. So yeah.
He easily picks up Steven. They find him. They get into a small fight over hey, you locked me in the cell and punch you. But eventually,
They kind of fight like girls too. They're kind of
yeah. Steven ends up.
I shouldn't say that because never
He
mind.
ends up giving up. He said once the deputy tells him that Jessica's at the station, he's like, "All right, take me there, handcuff me, let's go." So something smells really good in here. Somebody's eating something. It smells good.
Someone's got some pizza.
So back at the station, Robert enters, and with one hand, he tosses a deputy over the front counter, grabs Jessica at the same time. He kills a female deputy by pushing her head so hard she slams against a locker, blood just explodes.
Just
from a push.
Yeah.
Not like a slam or beat, just one push, the head explodes up against the metal locker. The sheriff who's on the phone finally sees what's happening. Right as Robert is trying to spit the demon worm into Jessica's mouth, he rushes out of his office, charges at Robert, who just hits the sheriff like an open palm strike.
It's like a palm strike.
Yeah.
It's that thing you told kids when you're you're in fourth grade. It's like, do you hear you can kill a man by hitting him in the nose like that?
Knock your nose into their brain.
You tell kids. Yeah.
I remember hearing that as a kid, too.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So-
you drive their nose in their brain, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he does that, sends the sheriff flopping to the floor. Jessica manages to get away, runs into Steven and the other deputy in the hallway. And like a fucking ninja, Steven, his hands are cuffed behind his back. He leaps over his, cuffed hands, brings him to the front, elbows the deputy in the face.
Why does he elbow him in the
I
face?
know! And then steals his gun, the swiftest ninja-like move ever. And this guy's supposed to be, the scrawny kid from a small town, but he's something like Bruce fucking Lee.
He's got his hands cuffed behind his back, leaps up, pulls him up, grabs a gun, elbows a cop, and boom, boom, boom,
This
boom,
is
boom.
like something you see in like a Jason Statham
Yeah,
movie.
this is like Jet Li kind of shit. Yeah.
So he unloads the clip into Robert. The final round shoots Robert dead center in the forehead.
And he had brown stuff fly all
The
over the
black-
wall,
the-
which made me go,
which-
does he have shit for brains?
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
know.
Everybody who gets
So,
possessed, they no longer have red blood.
They
all
have, like, brown blood.
It's like black blood.
it's horrible.
And he grabs Jessica, and they run off as 3 more deputies arrive on the scene. One looks like
All of them have like blonde mullets.
One is straddling, like he has his gun up, but he looks like he's straddling a horse. Like he's holding his gun out like this. So it's the weirdest looking. Like nobody would train you to hold a gun like that in,
Maybe
in
he
the
has a
police
Colt.
academy.
Yeah, maybe he has a Colt revolver.
So
Huh?
Jessica and Steven, run. They Oh wait. Okay. So basically, these two deputies go and check on Robert, who's now come back to life, and gives the 2 deputies basically, for you wrestling fans out there, a meeting of the minds.
Or a noggin knocker from hell.
Yeah.
Taking 2 people's heads and
He
smacking
smashes
them together,
Yeah.
which causes their faces to break.
Yeah, and it's not just their face; the skulls break, but suddenly they have like claw marks across their
Like
face
their
too.
cheekbones shatter.
Yeah.
Like explode.
It's ludicrously. It's
double
ridiculous.
kill
It's
right off the bat.
it's over the top. So Jessica and Steven run into the diner to get the baby, but Joey B pulls out her gun on them and tells her husband to call the cops. Of course, the phone is dead at this time, because of course. And Joey B sends her son, the cook, outside with a gun to look around. At this time, Jessica and Joey start struggling for the gun, which leads to a comical camera angle of a bullet shooting the fuse box, killing the power diner. It's something you've seen in like a Lethal Weapon, not like a Naked Gun movie.
It was like a first-person view of the bullet.
Yeah.
The bullet gets shot, and it just
Yeah, it's
right
like,
into the electrical box.
Yeah, it looks so out of place in this movie. And Jessica then hits Joey B in the face with a napkin dispenser, knocking her out. Robert breaks the cook's arm at the wrist.
and-
Can we show that?
Because it's so ridiculous, I want to show all these kills, because from here on out, it's like a hodgepodge of
Insanity?
great kills.
Yeah, it's just ludicrous.
It's fantastic.
So-
So just to set it up before we show it, Robert's coming out of the police station, and is it Wade? Or
Ward or Wade,
Ward,
something
Ward,
like that. Who cares?
Ward, the chef's,
doesn't fucking matter.
The chef's son, who has a gun. He's acting like he has a gun for the first time. He's like,
Yeah.
having fun with the gun. He sees Ward walking towards him, and he says to stop. And he's pointing the gun for no reason. Again,
Just show the damn clip.
All right, fine.
Jesus. Good God. And snap, there goes the wrist. And then tosses him into the door, and I guess he's dead.
And that's just deaths galore.
All right, we're getting.
We don't have to explain it. It's
There
all
are
right
people.
here.
There are people listening who can't see this. So yes, it needs to be explained. Outside, Robert then flings the door opens, which knocks a screaming waitress to the floor. He grabs a random customer and smashes him through like the counter hatch or whatever.
The lights are out, and before this, there's like 30 people in the restaurant, and then when they cut the lights are off, like there's only like 4.
There's
It
like
seems-
one.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's one guy. So Vicky suddenly shows up with a shotgun, which again I love Vicky.
Oh.
She just blasts several rounds into Robert, and the first round she also happens to kill the random customer who gets shot in the crossfire.
And that's something we didn't happen to have that on the clip. I wish we did, because
No.
it's so funny. She starts shooting Robert.
Yeah.
And Robert's taking the shots, and there's like just some poor asshole in the background.
Yeah. Just
who
came
gets
in for the
blown
2-for-1
away,
Jason Burger
who just
deal.
takes a big shot in the face, and he's gone.
Yeah.
That poor dick. Like, he didn't do anything. He
Nope.
didn't try to stop Jason.
It's the same guy who got smashed through the counter. It's the same guy, but then all of a sudden he's up and behind Robert and gets shot.
So he gets shot by a shotgun.
Yeah.
And smashed
through
through
a counter. He had a bad day.
That guy is poor bastard.
He had a bad day. So, Vicky then basically all this, and then after this is all done slow motion now. Jessica and Steven are running to the back of the diner. Vicky turns around in like really weird slow down film footage. And in the back, Jessica finds the baby is gone. The Monty box is empty.
Yeah.
And there's a note left in the box crib, that reads, "I have what you want. Come to the Voorhees house. Signed, Duke." Keep that in mind. I'm going to say that again. It reads, "I have what you want. Come to the Voorhees house. Signed, Duke." So back in
We'd have a makeshift Jason in the
All
house,
right.
too.
So back in the front of the diner, Joey she shoots Robert some more, and then he just tosses her gun to her husband, who she calls Pookie. She's like,
Sure, it's
so here, Pookie. We see a close-up of Pookie saying, "Oh, shit!"
Yeah.
And
we showed it here,
just to say, he's clearly not wearing glasses of any kind. But then when the shot turns to the cameras behind him and he's shooting Robert, you can clearly see he's wearing like thick safety goggles on his face.
No.
Yeah, you probably won't be. You have to watch the actual movie, not this scene. But it's there.
I couldn't see it. I tried.
You have to watch the actual movie. So Robert just grabs Pookie by the head, dunks him headfirst into the fryer.
Yeah.
Joey rushes up, tries to get Robert off of him, but then basically gets her chin or lower jaw like elbowed
Let's see it again.
into her face, which looks absolutely ridiculous. It looks comical. There it is. Look at that. That is so ridiculous. And she's hamming it up too. She's like, her head's all wild.
I think Joey's probably one of my favorite characters in this movie.
Really? I thought I couldn't stand her.
Well, that's one that she's supposed to be the person you hate, like you can't stand. She's fat, she's obnoxious, she wears too much makeup, she's bossy, but she nails it. The actress nails it.
And then Robert tosses a crispy-faced Pokey. He just tosses him aside. In the back, Jessica is grabbed by Robert now, who smashes through a window from somewhere. Vicky shows up again and shoots Robert in the leg with the shotgun. But how this happens, again, makes no sense because he smashes through a window, which means there's half a wall there. But the leg getting shot, which means he's now on the other side of the wall. Like, it makes no sense how this is set up. But Robert then turns his attention to Vicky, who blasts him in the face with straight off, takes half his face off. Then picks up a long metal pole, which...
It was like a piece of rebar.
Yeah, which, again, why this would be in the back of a diner, I have no clue. And she runs him through like it's a fucking Spartan spear. Like, she's in 300s. Like, this is Sparta, bitch, and just runs through.
This is Sparta, bitch. All right.
So Robert then just grabs her and pulls her onto the pole that's sticking out, impaling her through the chest. She's like, "Go to hell," and then grabs the sides of her head. Please tell me we have this one.
I do.
Look.
Yeah.
Squeezes it so tight
There it is.
that the brains pop out through her skull. There we go. Give a little squeeze here. Get that fresh juice out of there. Pop! Pop goes the weasel. And when we see the body again, though, there's no damage to her head whatsoever.
No,
the next time you see the body,
she still looks beautiful.
She's gorgeous. So Robert also happens to fall down dead as well.
Yeah, so Robert, he's been shot multiple times,
Yeah.
shot in the leg, ran through with a piece of rebarb,
Yeah.
and all that's left is Steven and
Jessica.
And that's all that's left. All he has to do is take a few more steps, and Jason fulfills his mission of killing him. But he
drops
apparently
dead.
that's just too much damage. He can't handle anymore. He's down.
Well, it's also not his normal body, so who knows?
Well,
so
anyway.
Steven says he's going to go get help, but Jessica runs off by herself, hops in the car, drives off, leaving Steven at the diner. Steven now finds the note on the floor, which is now magically changed from what I said earlier, "I have what you want, come to the Voorhees house," and the note now says, "I have your baby, come to the Voorhees house alone." They changed the fucking note.
I never noticed that.
You did? Oh,
I
it's
did notice
hilarious.
that.
Like,
I did
why?
notice that.
So I don't know how this happens. Like, I don't know how that's not caught by, like, the prop master, the script supervisor, or even the goddamn director. how that air gets through.
And I love how when Steven picks it up and looks at it,
Duke's narrating
Duke
it.
narrates it. I have your baby. Come to the Voorhees house alone.
So in a dramatic gopher YouTube clip, Steven like turns his head and he spots a machete hanging on the wall because, of course,
a diner has a machete displayed
I'm
on the wall.
sure if we go in the back of Sullivan's bar here, they have a machete hanging on the wall.
Prominently displayed.
Right there.
Right there.
This pristine, clean machete on the wall.
It's what places do.
Yep, it's what you do.
Yeah.
So we jump back to the Voorhees house. Jessica pulls up. She enters the house where Duke is waiting for her, holding her baby, who is probably aged another 2 years by now, so who knows?
It's probably in the third grade.
It's probably, third grade.
It's got Jack syndrome. You know,
it's got some mullets growing. Or,
yeah,
not
from
sideburns, not
probably
mullet,
from
but-
Jack, whatever that disease is. Yeah, it's just growing exponentially fast.
He's holding the baby in one arm, and he's got this large dagger in the other hand. He does give her back the baby, and he tells her it's not about the money anymore. So now Duke's had a change of heart for some reason that makes no sense really whatsoever. Like,
Yeah, so
why? Because nothing
he
happens
does-
to him to make him change his mind.
He doesn't need money anymore. Apparently, he doesn't need fingers.
No,
anymore.
he doesn't break Vicky's fingers.
Now he's just being a good Samaritan.
Yeah, which I don't get. It
Doesn't
comes
quite,
out of nowhere.
Doesn't quite stick to Duke.
No. So Duke tells her that he needs her to kill Jason, tosses the dagger her way.
Oh shit!
Now, remember, she's holding a fucking baby, but she reaches out in a spinning motion and grabs the dagger out of midair. And the dagger magically transforms into this elaborate, evil-looking short sword. I mean, it's a dagger, but it's huge. And it's got this elaborate, grip and hilt.
Was it like the dagger in Evil Dead?
Now, somebody just said it's like Dagger and Evil Dead.
Here we go.
It is, again, similar. But we're going to show it. She's holding a baby, and a guy throws a dagger at her. And instead of trying to protect the baby, she reaches for the dagger. It's like,
You want your baby out of danger.
oh, you're a little far away, but
Oh wait, yeah, I missed it. Okay, I'm sorry.
all right.
Anyway,
So back at the diner. Oh,
okay,
do we have it?
yeah, we do.
We have it here. Okay.
He gives her the baby. You know, give me 2 minutes.
It's not about the money.
It's not about the money anymore.
No, not
Yeah.
about the money, and I don't
He
need to break your
doesn't
fingers.
care.
Here's your kid.
Takes the baby, and actually, I think the baby's not quite a toddler, not quite an infant. I
Well, I
think it's
guess a
actually
toddler would be at walking. I don't know. I don't have kids, but it's not walking yet. But that baby's definitely crawling.
Yeah.
That baby's crawling somewhere.
You don't need me for that.
Okay, we don't need me for that.
Here it
Okay,
is.
here he picks up the dagger, tosses it. She catches it with the baby in her hand,
and it turns into
like a sword.
it turns into a small sword.
It's like fucking Sting from Lord of the Rings or something. Like it's a sword.
This is the same dagger
Yeah.
Duke was holding when he was talking about a little girl in a pink dress
Fingering a donut with a hot dog.
putting
Yeah,
a hot
I don't
dog
get
through
that.
a donut. It's the same dagger.
It is the same dagger.
It's the same dagger. It's about I don't know 6-7 inches.
Yeah.
Tosses
It's not
it
even
to
a dagger
her.
at that point. It's just a knife.
She catches it, and it turns into a small sword.
It's
I mean,
an instrument
it's
of
it's
death.
over a foot long.
Yeah. So, anyway, we go back to the diner where we see like this POV shot of someone walking through, the bloody massacre, and they're wearing cop pants. That's all you see is the feet in cop pants. And then Robert lunges out of the shadows. That's all you see. Back at the house, Jessica and Duke hear someone pulling up to the house in the car. And Duke tells her that Jason could be in anyone by now. You can't trust anyone. And out of nowhere, Duke falls through a goddamn trap door. The floorboards don't break. It's a trap door.
A trap door opens, and Duke falls through the trap door.
This is like if you were in your own house and you have a trap door in your living room, like over a crocodile pit or something. Like, what is going on with this house?
It doesn't make any sense.
So he falls through, and his leg gets impaled on like a pipe or something when
Another
he falls.
piece of rebar.
Rebar. Okay.
Yeah.
So Duke.
Duke's
he's
in the
holding,
basement.
he's actually still holding on at this point, and he's trying to help her up. Jessica's trying to help him up when Ed, the sheriff, enters the room, and Ed's the guy who got the palm strike.
So we thought Ed was dead.
We thought Ed was dead. As soon as the sheriff comes in, Duke falls, gets impaled to the leg, and Duke's going up. You gotta kill him. You gotta kill him. He could be Jason. So Duke, just at this point, Duke is just like, kill everybody I see.
Yeah. Don't kill me. Kill everyone else. You'll be
He
fine.
wants to like go like global, like just annihilate this whole town. Apparently, just kill everyone.
You'll eventually get to Jason. You'll be fine.
Sooner or later, we'll get it right.
Yeah.
So she hesitates, giving the sheriff enough time to get close enough to grab the arm holding the dagger. And now the deputy from earlier shows up, the same one that got locked in the cell and fought with Steven. And he's like, Ed, get away from her. And Ed lets her go. Duke yells at her to kill them both. Again, he's like, kill them both. And Ed asks Jessica to give him the dagger while the deputy's like circling around with the gun pointed
And
at
the
Ed.
deputy says, Ed, get away from her. Back off.
Yeah.
The deputy says that. The deputy's very clear. And
So-
Ed, get away from her. Get back.
Yeah, and so for some reason, Ed like lunges forward, and he gets stabbed in the chest by I'm not even gonna say dagger, the sword. But she doesn't kill him. Like, she's just holding it, and he basically runs into it.
runs himself
He
into
basically
it.
kills himself. And
he falls on top of her,
falls
and
on
she
top of
loses
her.
the sword. It slides across a slip and slide fucking floor all the way across the room underneath the dresser.
Yeah, underneath some kind of old
Somehow
wooden
it
furniture.
slides across the floor underneath the dresser.
So he's his
Ed's-
body
Ed
is
is
pinning.
dead. Ed's dead.
Ed's dead, but he's pinning her to the floor. The deputy goes for the baby.
And we find that, oh my god, Jason is the deputy.
He picks up the baby.
And Jason, apparently before, is now able to speak. He hasn't spoken
Yeah.
as one of his possessed
Holy
bodies
shit, you're totally
ever.
right. He speaks at this
He's
point.
never said shit. He's never said a goddamn thing.
Hold
and
on,
for some reason,
I missed that.
And
I
for,
totally missed
yes,
that.
for some reason
Oh.
he says, Ed, get away from her. And he says that. Why didn't he say that as Robert and say, hey, baby, let's get it on. And then do the worm thing, and you're done.
Do the worm.
You're done.
worm.
Why didn't he do that in the first place?
Oh, it's so good. That's
That
such a
doesn't
good
make
point.
any sense.
So, anyway, he places the baby back on the table that the deputy was strapped to. And we didn't mention this earlier because it's not as visible in that first scene, but now for some reason, this table has metal, like, gynecological stirrups attached to it.
Yes.
So, again, I'm just like, why? What happened in this
What is
house?
going on?
What is
Jason's a
going on
freak.
here?
Jason's a freak. He likes to light romantic fires and shave naked middle-aged men. He likes to have, I guess,
Give
gynecological
exams on the
to
side?
who knows
Like,
who.
Again,
Yeah,
this reminds me of it's the
some
same
weird
thing that
stuff.
reminds me of Halloween 8, where they're like, oh, we need to decorate up the Myers house, all these fake things to make it look creepier than it is.
Let's make it creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, let's throw some gynecological stirrups on the table. Why not?
From the 50s.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Jessica manages to wiggle out from under the dead sheriff in time to disrupt the deputy from spitting out the demon worm onto the baby. And Steven heroically runs in, just like he always does, nearly cuts the head of the deputy off with a machete.
And we've got that kill.
I mean, he nearly
Because
takes this guy's head off.
This is
Now,
pretty good.
Before we...
Oh, wait,
okay.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. I just want to say, in case you thought things could not get more retardedly bonkers, what's going to happen? All right, just, show it.
So
Just
he
show
already
it.
he already cut the head. Oh, let me see if I got it. Go back a little bit further. Here we go.
Yeah,
All right.
just show
Cut his
that.
head off. Falls on the floor.
He's gurgling, and out comes ramen noodles and demon worm.
What? It's basically a little Jason covered in ramen noodles. I don't know how else you describe it.
And
So-
okay, pause it there.
Yeah.
Pause it
it's-
there. So, like I said, things get just through the roof bonkers at this point. I mean, hold on to your butts at this point. Strap in, because the way this movie ends, it is a wild ride. So, baby demon, it looks like a baby demon with no legs, squirms out of the neck of the deputy. It launches itself through the air at Steven, who catches it midair, tosses it into the closet, where it falls through the hole and lands next to Diana's corpse. Also next to Diana's corpse, for some reason, is a large crate that reads Arctic Expedition, property of Julia Carpenter. And again, I'm just bamboozled by what is in this house.
Did you not research that?
I have a little bit.
All
Yeah,
right,
I do.
Go on. Let's go with the movie.
So Duke finally manages to climb up out of the hole he was in, and as we see the demon worm skittering between Diana's legs and enters her body through the vagina.
Via vaginal canal.
Yeah. So it goes inside of her. And I'm just like, holy shit, this movie is... It blows your mind.
So this is where Steven asked Duke, does Jason need a live Voorhees to be reborn?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. Uh-oh.
Yeah, because
And
they all
that's when
start hearing... So they're all upstairs, and they start hearing sounds coming from the basement. And now Jason comes crashing through the floorboards behind him. And I'm like, good Lord, he's got a serious vertical leap then. If he comes crashing through the basement straight up and lands on the floor.
He should be playing some NBA.
Yeah. And he's full in
Yeah.
full Jason.
He's in
like you
full
said.
Jason glory.
Which, by the way, I think Jason looks really weird in this movie. It's not my favorite look for Jason.
Yeah.
Not at all. But anyway, it's besides the point.
He's kind of bubbly.
Yeah, he's very
Yeah.
bubbly, and the mask is all like shrunken down, and
Right.
it looks weird. So Jessica and Steven try to get the dagger out from under the dresser or whatever it's under. And Jason's about to grab Jessica when Duke handcuffs himself to Jason and then handcuffs his other hand to, like, who knows why. at
And
this
he
point.
says, remember me?
Yeah. Which,
Why?
yeah,
Why would he remember
He
him?
says, hey, you son of a bitch, remember me. And that makes no sense because up until this point, they've never even been in the same scene together.
Yeah,
ever.
but guess what, motherfucker?
So
I've been watching you. I don't know if you've been watching
yeah.
me.
So Jason basically just yanks Duke towards him, ripping his hand out of the other handcuffs, and basically just bear hugs him to death.
Yeah.
He's like, gives him a big old bear hug.
Gives a
and
big old
he
squeeze.
dies.
Oh, you're my biggest
You're
fan.
my- yeah.
I like you, and he's dead.
And he's dead. But he does get his dying words out, telling Jason that he will die tonight. Jason's gonna die tonight. Jessica, at this point, knocks the dagger through another hole in the floor.
Everything's falling through the holes in the
into
floor.
the basement. Steven tackles Jason through the window and then tries to kill him with a rake.
So they're fighting in the yard.
They're fighting in the front yard.
Jason, for some reason...
This turns into what I would imagine you'd see like a white trash yard. Like it's like two drunken people fighting in the
Yeah,
yard.
they're using, like, gardening tools,
Yeah.
fighting each other. And this kind of pissed me off, because Jason has killed people with his bare hands
Countless times.
many times
Countless
before,
times.
all throughout the movies. But he'll pick him up. Steven's on his last leg and just toss him.
Yeah.
And then he'll pick him up again and toss him. And
So-
pick him up, punch him, and toss him.
Yeah.
He's not breaking him in half or doing a bear hug or twisting his head around, which we've seen in other Jason movies. I'm spitting everywhere. But I don't know. I
why
mean,
these
is he
are here.
off his game because he's back in his old body? What's going on?
He's got ring rust.
Yeah, he's like old boxers, like a boxer
yeah.
got back from an injury. He's got ring rust.
So Jessica, Steven's getting tossed around like a rag down the front yard while Jessica's down in the basement trying to get the dagger. Steven tries one more time to fight off Jason, this time using a shovel, which Jason just grabs and then smacks Steven in the head with it.
Like we said, they just can't do it.
Yeah. And then he tosses the shovel aside. Jason picks up Steven, throws him into a jungle gym, which happens to be in the front yard as well. And so is this old American flag, by the way. So at least the Voorhees are patriotic.
Patriotic, yeah.
They are patriotic. Steven climbs. I don't know why he thinks this is going to help, but he climbs to the top of the jungle gym like he's going to get away from Jason. But Jason's like, fuck that. He just picks it up like one hand and tips the whole jungle gym over and knocking Steven off and like basically pinning him inside the jungle gym. He then just drags Steven out from underneath it, picks him up, tosses him around again, and from out of nowhere comes Jessica, leaps onto Jason's back, stabs him the sword into his chest. Jason knocks her off. We gotta show this closely.
I got this.
As glowing balls of energy fly out from his body and shoot up into the sky. Which,
Jason turns into a walking Roman candle.
yeah, that's exactly what I have on my yeah. And the sky now has become cloudy. There's thunderstorms and cloud lightning coming. And yeah, at this point he looks like there it is, Roman candle Jason. Shoot him out. Steven gets up and does a jumping crane kick from like Karate Kid to Jason's face, and then starts punching Jason repeatedly. And each time he punches Jason, Jason's face like explodes
Like
in
little
like
sparks.
of like energy, like white, like orange or like energy lights burst from his face with every punch. And then
Jess comes along, karate kicks the knife deeper into his chest, which causes a big opening of
this giant energy ball shoots out Jason's chest at that point, flies up into the thunderclouds, where a bright blue light has formed, which now shoots down a blue energy ball or rays or whatever.
Because this is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
he's punching him,
insane.
Sparks flying.
The craziest ending to a movie I've ever seen. And this erupts. And now suddenly blue lights come back down from the heavens. And these blue balls fly into Jason's
got
body.
The worst case of blue balls ever.
Really bad. And body as hands begin to burst through the ground. They grab Jason and even start grabbing. They eventually grab Steven.
And these things look like the Thing.
They do. They look like the Thing's
It
hand.
looks like the fucking Thing
from Fantastic
Four is coming from hell to get Steven and Jason. And I'm just going to go back just really quick, 10 seconds, and just show the look on that girl's face when she's seeing Steven being grabbed by the things from hell.
Definitely Thing right there.
She looks like... Okay, Steven got grabbed, he's being drugged to hell, and this is the father of children, and she's like, I don't know. He doesn't pay good child support.
They are exes, and she didn't want to see him.
He's not he's not inspirational to my art, so I don't know. Maybe I should just let him be drugged to hell by the Thing and Jason.
Eventually, she does rush over to save him, as Jason pops up from underneath the dirt, grabbing at Steven, making more grunting noises again. More and more hands pop up as they pull Jason down into the ground while this massive blue light beam shines down on him from the heavens. Jessica pulls Steven to safety as Jason's head is seen sinking into the ground. The blue light narrows to like this thin little beam and then dissipates in a really pretty little special effect. And it looks like it almost looks like something you've seen like a Star Trek movie, like the teleport when they distort the beams away or something. We fade to Steven with his arm around Jessica's shoulders as the two of them walk away into the sunrise. Is it over? Fuck no, it ain't over!
Let's just watch this for just a moment as they're walking away into the sunset together.
Yeah, think it's over.
Where's the baby?
Oh! That's a good point! Where is the baby?
Where's the baby?
Where is the baby?
They just... Fuck it.
I totally didn't even think about that.
Let's just... Leave that
Unless
baby.
Steven's holding it. But we cut to the wind, blowing dirt off of Jason's mask, which has somehow managed to stay topside, even though he was wearing it when he got sucked into the earth.
Yeah,
a dog comes out of the bushes, sniffs the mask. At this point, I thought the dog was going to pee on the mask.
I thought for sure the dog was going to piss on the mask. And this is also Tango the Wonder Dog.
Yeah. And the camera zooms in on the mask. And I'm a little ahead of the movie, the image here, just for the listeners at home.
Let's just let this play out and we'll recap it. It's a pretty wonderful scene.
Camera zooms in on the mask here. And what is that? It's Freddy's fucking arm. Freddy Krueger rips up through the earth, pulls Jason's mask into the ground, and Freddy's laughing in the background. What?
And that's the end.
Roll the motherfucking credits. That's the movie.
That's it.
Holy shit, what a ride that is. So, with that said, this fresh in our heads, movie's over. Now we go into start wrapping things up. We go into our segments here. For those of you who are new to the show, we go into our first segment, which is our favorite kills of the movie.
There can be only one. Favorite kill.
So, Aaron, what is your favorite kill of Jason Goes to Hell?
I guess my favorite actual kill, my favorite death might be the deputy, because he melts into like a weird...
Goo.
That's pretty cool. But I think my favorite kill, I don't know, there was a lot. There was like 20 kills in this movie.
Yeah, it's like a 20 body count movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of kills. Man, I might have to defer.
Really?
Tell me yours.
My favorite kill, again, melting goo is fine, but my favorite kill is Vicky was a number 2 for me because I just like Jessica. She goes out like a champ and she goes out fighting. But my favorite kill has got to be the Deborah, the hitchhiking sex girl who just gets impaled and her torso rips in half because it's a great looking effect. That's my favorite kill of this movie.
Yeah.
So.
I kind of liked. I guess my favorite kill was probably the little diner owner who gets his head stuck in a fryer. And the
Really?
reason I think about that,
We've seen that
that's
so many
got to be
times.
one of the worst ways to go.
We saw that like 5 times in Poultrygeist.
It's just awful.
All right.
Just having your head shoved into a deep fryer.
All right.
That's got to be horrible.
All right. Now, since we are live,
We are live.
we do have some audience here. We are actually, for those of you who have actually seen the movie or what you've witnessed here, if you would like to come up to this wonderful microphone right here and tell us what your favorite kill is
And why?
and why, you will get this lovely little token for a free drink on us. So anybody wants to come up, now is their time to do it, or forever hold your peace.
So this is a free drink offer, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't be. I think there's just nobody's coming up.
I don't think it's anybody.
They don't
coming
like
up.
us. We like us. All right, so we'll move on.
Oh, we got someone coming up.
Oh, we
Okay.
got. Oh, now people are fine for it.
Yeah. All right,
All right.
so we have one.
We got one. We got. All right.
All right, so my name's Sarah.
Hello, Sarah.
Hi guys. So my favorite kill of the whole thing, I have to piggyback a little bit on what you guys.
Hold on a second, Sarah. Give me 1 second here. I
right.
apologize. This is my.
Can you guys hear me over here?
Yes. Now we're getting
All right,
the mic.
awesome.
Now we're going.
So my name's Sarah, and I think that my favorite kill, I have to piggyback a little bit on what Marshall said. I'm sorry, I kind of always agree with Marshall. Except for Alice in Wonderland, I don't agree with that. But
Nobody does. Nobody
yeah, I
does.
have to say that was probably one of the best kills, just because when she was impaled, the fact that he ripped it all the way up. But I kind of like that it was a combination of a couple of kills. You know, the 2 chicks died all kind of within the same camping scene. So
Yeah.
I kind of like the whole scene of kills
whole- the
there
whole
because
camp scene.
it was very much to harken back.
It was a
the-
collective kill.
yeah, it was the only thing in this
Are you
movie.
a Bernie Sanders supporter?
Oh boy,
Are
we
you
are
a
not.
socialist, perhaps?
No, we are not going political on this show. We are not going political.
Either way, I found it really, really great the way that he impaled her. Like you guys said, you know, during the sex scene. Too bad for him.
Yeah.
Too bad for
Too
him,
bad
really.
for
I
him.
mean, he got it, and now he's never going to get it again. So
Never gonna, just like In Vogue, never gonna get it,
gonna
never
get it.
ever gonna get it. All right, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. All right.
Here's your token.
Drink chip for you.
We're gonna toss it to you. Hit Chris in the nuts with it. Whatever.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? One more.
We had somebody.
We
Yeah.
had somebody. All right,
All right.
here we go. We got another gentleman.
All right.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Norma Lloyd.
All
How you
right.
doing?
All right. Nice to meet you.
Thanks
My
for coming.
favorite kill was the 2 cops in the police station when he banged their heads together.
Noggin knocker.
Because if you looked, they just cut to it right before he hit their heads together. They already had all the blood and gore on their heads before they hit.
Yes, they did. They did.
That was
They
my
did.
favorite kill.
They were basically
All right.
smushed together
There you
and
go,
then
sir.
rammed across. Yeah.
I missed that part. That's a good observation. Very, very well done. All right, so if that's going to be it, we'll move on to our odds and ends.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
Which we always start off with the rating system. So for IMDb gives it a 4.3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 24% on the thermometer meter with a 25% audience score, so neck and neck on that one. And Amazon being Amazon, 3.3.
Yeah.
Plot keywords. There were 108 plot keywords for this movie. The ones I wrote down, just because, you know, I write these down before I watch the movie. You have sex, sadism, bloodbath, condom, and then surgical, rubber, medical, and latex gloves were all plot keywords.
Surgical, medical, and rubber.
Medical and latex gloves. Yeah.
Huh.
All of those were individual plot keywords. But demon worm was not a
Yeah.
plot keyword.
My-
What?
I think my plot keywords would be like Jack Baby, reverse Benjamin Button.
Broken fingers, maybe?
Yeah. Sadistic Black Cowboy would definitely be on there.
Yeah, Black Cowboy should
Black
be.
Cowboy would be on there because I'm sorry, you just don't see a lot of Black Cowboys.
No, you don't.
Except for Bill Pickett.
Bill.
If anybody knows Black Cowboys, look up Bill Pickett.
All right.
All right.
Moving on to trivia for this movie, and oh my God, there was a plethora, a treasure trove of trivia for this movie.
Tons of trivia.
First of all, it was nominated for the Fangoria magazine Chainsaw Awards for Best Actress, Carrie Keegan, who plays Jessica,
Right.
and Best Supporting Actor, Stephen Williams, who's Duke.
Yeah.
Now, this one, I want to track this down because this is awesome. There was a comic book that bridged the gap between Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, and this film. It followed Jason after he was dipped in the toxic waste in New York City and his killing spree all the way back to Camp Crystal Lake, and it also explains why the FBI has a task force specifically assigned to get Jason and all that. That should have been a movie.
That sounds like a good movie.
That needs to be seen. Because I always thought it's like, what is happening when this thing opens? It's like, what? There's no sense.
Didn't make any sense.
We've already covered how the Necronomicon was covered in this movie. It was it was borrowed from Tom Sullivan, who started the Evil Dead movies. Tom then said that he would never again loan out props without granting permission because he wasn't really allowed. The heart was reused. Jason's heart was reused.
Jason's heart was reused. So Jason's heart from this movie was reused in another one.
Dusk Till Dawn, 1996, as Monkey Man's heart. The Jungle Gym at the end.
Jungle Gym in the movie, the one where Jason flipped over Steven.
That was originally used in Alfred Hitchcock's original The Birds.
The Birds. The Jungle Gym is from The Birds. So we're talking, what, the 60s? The mid-60s?
Yeah, it's the good. The original title of the movie was Friday the 13th, Part 9, The Dark Heart of Jason Voorhees. Now, this, holy shit, this I don't know if you've heard this one, but the earliest concept for this movie was Jason goes to L.A., in which two rival gangs would be fighting when Jason would show up and start murdering them, which would force the gangs to band together to defeat Jason.
Come on, Crips. Come on, Bloods. Let's stop killing each other. Jason's in town.
Let's kill this guy.
That sounds fucking horrible.
So it does. There was supposed to be a high-tech video game based on this movie. The game was actually created but never released. The crate in the basement of the Voorhees house, which I mentioned, was a prop from the story The Crate from the 1982 film Creepshow.
Right.
So that's like 3 props now they borrowed from other movies in this.
Which had Paul Giamatti.
Oh, there you go.
Paul Giamatti was in there.
Love Paul Giamatti. Yeah. Jason's heart was actually made of gelatin and filled with fruit cocktail from the craft service tables and mixed with black dye. But the actor Richard Gant was still so disgusted he reportedly nearly threw up several times during the take eating that heart.
Well, he sold it.
Yeah. Now, we commented specific on this. In the section where Duke says, hey, son of a bitch, remember me? And we're like, no, why should you remember him?
Right.
Apparently, if you listen to the audio commentary on the DVD, it's revealed that the script at one point had a scene where Jason killed Duke's girlfriend, and Duke, I guess, witnessed it or something. But it was totally cut out, which makes no sense as to why he says, remember me. So at that point, they should have said, change the line.
Yeah,
Just said, hey,
change the
fucker.
line.
Yeah, it's like, how long has that been? You know?
Hey, asshole.
Yeah.
I got you. Something. I don't know.
I'm going to skip this one.
I'm not clever enough to think of it on my toes, guys. I don't know.
Now, this one, I kind of wish Ray, we had a guest on Ray was here to verify this, but this one's kind of interesting. This talks about timeline of the movie. So the end of the film, obviously, when Freddy Krueger's glove pops up, you have to, in order for that to be consistent, one has to accept that Freddy was already in hell following his defeat in Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare in 1991, but that movie was released in 1991, but set in the future. Interesting time clues emerged, namely that Freddy's Dead took place according to the beginning crawl 10 years from now. Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare came out in 1991. However, the Nightmare on Elm Street companion website opted to interpret 10 years from today as 10 years from 1989, the events of the prior film to the Friday Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. In any event, if Jason Goes to Hell follows the events of Freddy's Dead, then it must take place in either 1999 or 2001 for that to make sense, for those storylines to
I've had a couple drinks. You kind of lost me there, brother.
All right. If you listen to this, rewind and check that out again. This is the first Friday the 13th film to have another Voorhees in it, other than the very first one.
Right, yeah. It's got 3 Voorhees.
Yeah, it was the first film in the series handled by New Line Cinema after it moved from Paramount. And we mentioned this. It is the strongest clues as to the actual location of Camp Crystal Lake.
So where is Camp Crystal Lake?
At the start of the movie, when Steven is
driving his sweet car.
And when you first see it, when the girl FBI agent at the very beginning is driving the car.
Who's wearing a New York Mets hat.
Yeah, but there's a sign that says Crystal Lake is approximately 29 miles from Fairfield and 39 miles from Westport. And Fairfield and Westport are both located in Connecticut.
Huh.
But previous films, a lot are indications that most people assume that Camp Crystal Lake was in New Jersey.
That's what I thought.
So, according to this one, it would be in Connecticut.
Okay.
Toby Hopper was originally considered to direct this movie.
I don't know who that is.
He's,
Sorry, I don't know who it is.
Toby Hopper is the director of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
But John McTiernan was offered the chance to direct the movie, but he turned it down so he could go work on Last Action Hero. That stinkfest of a movie.
We got 2 of them then.
This was only the Friday the 13th movie released in the 90s. And according to Rusty Schrimmer, who is the woman who plays Joey B that you like so much, she says, according to her, the dialogue between her and Shelby, her husband, or Pookie, was mostly improvised on set, that they just let the camera roll and let us go, according to her.
It's good. I liked her. She was my favorite.
The patches on the sheriff's shoulders for Cunningham County is an homage to Sean S. Cunningham, the producer of this movie and the original Friday the 13th. Now, this would have been interesting. Would you like this movie better if Tony Todd auditioned for Creighton Duke but lost out to Stephen Williams? Would you like to have seen Candyman play Duke?
Yes.
I would have too.
I would have loved
to see that.
I would have loved to have seen Candyman playing Duke. Although Duke was awesome. I like Duke. Duke was good. Duke did a good job. But, man, Candyman and Jason, come on.
The original film had a flashback sequence with Betsy Palmer. The mother was supposed to come back, but she rejected to do the part. Again, I don't know if this is true, but Stephen Williams would only play the bounty hunter Duke if he could dress as a cowboy. So that was the actor's choice. That was the actor's choice.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. The most expensive shot in the movie was the dagger transformation scene, the CGI.
Could believe it.
Yeah. And when the film was released, the Wall Street Journal called it a return to morality in cinema because the scene where Luke and Deborah are murdered after having sex for deciding not to use a condom. So they said, oh, you don't have sex with a condom, you get killed. So it's morals.
Die.
And the last thing, this is kind of fucked up if it's true, the director wanted Jessica, the actress, to be completely naked in that shower scene, but Carrie Keegan refused to do it, be nude. So to get back her, because there was this big back and forth, they were arguing about it, he had the water in the shower blasting super hot. So when she's crying in the shower, she's crying real tears because she's being burnt.
Jesus.
She actually walked off the set and quit the movie at that point, and they had to, according to this, fire Marcus, and they brought in Sean Cunningham to finish directing the last couple of days in order to get her to come back to do it. So that's insane if that's true. So that's it for trivia. But now
that's a lot of trivia.
It was a lot. Now we get to the favorite part, another interactive part of the game or show, where we get to play Guess the Budget.
It's now time to play everyone's favorite game, Guess the Budget.
So as always, or not always, but most of the time, we try to guess the budget of the movie here. I know the answer. Aaron does not. And we just try to see how close he can get without going over, or not even going over, just how close he can get. So
all right.
What is your guess for the budget, Aaron?
It's 1993. It's supposed to be one of the last Jason movies. If the biggest budget effect was the knife turning into a sword,
yeah,
I'm going to say $6 million.
$6 million.
$6 million.
Would anybody else in the audience like to take a guess at what the budget for this movie was? No idea?
Closest person.
We have a three?
We have a three.
We have a three. We have a 3 from the budget. The surprise.
Anyone else? No? We have a $9 million. So we have a 9. I said 8. We got a 3, and we got a 9.
So with that said, the winner of the budget game is our audience member. The budget of this movie was $2,500,000.
All right. Well, hey.
So Clap for her. Aaron blows the wad again.
$8 million.
We're going to hand this back to her. She gets a free drink token. But now, Aaron, you can make up for it because we also have the gross.
Got another train going.
We have another train. God love the trains. How much money do you think this movie made in the box office?
Horror movies always do very well. They always make a lot of money.
Most of the time.
The budget was 2. Typically, they make about 3 to 4 times. I'm gonna go with 8. I'm gonna go with 8 again.
8 million?
I'm gonna go with 8 again.
We have 11 million from the audience. Anybody else? 4 million. We have 8.
I heard 20. Who said 20? I heard 20.
We have
back
20.
there.
All right. The winner again would be audience member with the gross of $15,935,068. This movie made. So
right.
So there we go. That is.
So if you go over though, did you win or if you were under?
It's the closest.
Is it Price is Right rules?
It is. I go whoever gets the closest.
So then the 20 million was the closest.
Yes, that's what I said.
So this gentleman has won 2 drinks tonight.
Yeah, 2 drinks.
All right.
That's what I said. 20 million.
Can you guys drive me home?
Yeah. We'll get you an Uber. So that brings us now to, as you've heard us rant and rave about this movie and how awful it is. But you know what? Some people have a different opinion. That brings us to 5-star reviews.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
This movie has 11 pages of 5-star reviews on Amazon. 11 pages. I wrote down a few of them because they blow my mind. First one from FM Wallix, who, for those of you who listen to the episode, might recognize that name before. Like, I've heard that before. That's because he also dropped a 5-star review for The Ginger Dead Man. So that just goes to show the quality this guy has in movies. So anyway, first off, let me go ahead and piss everyone off. This is a classic. Just think about it. It is the first Friday film that doesn't play out the entire Naked Girls in the Woods theme. I know Jason of old was only in the film twice, but that's what made it great. And oh yeah, the Book of the Dead from the Evil Dead was on the table, but it meant nothing. Listen to the commentary. 5 stars. From Brett Michael Roberts. So it doesn't follow the original
Brett
story.
Michaels?
Brett Michael Roberts.
Not Brett Michaels?
No, not Brett Michaels. I wish. So it
be
doesn't.
much cooler if you were Brett Michaels.
It doesn't follow the original story. It's not very scary. So there's some obvious mistakes. But who cares?
Who cares?
Anyway, for those of you who don't plan to watch this film because there's no teens or sex, never fear. There's both. Anyway, Jason Goes to Hell is a great film. And if you know you're not getting your typical Jason movie, you'll love it. 5 stars. Yeah. I'm going to skip this one for time, but it's really good, but I'm going to skip it. We're going to do a kids review, which I love the kids reviews. I wish I had a jingle for the kid reviews. This is the only one in the F-13 saga with lots of action, and it has some cool guns with some 007 style. Jason is barely in the movie, but who cares? 5 stars.
They say that a lot. Who cares? There's a shit ton of guns in this movie.
There are.
This is the first time I've ever seen so many guns in a Friday the 13th movie.
Last two. From Thierry Humbert, a true horror movie. Don't try to understand anything at all. Stop thinking. Take a breath. Just relax. Get a thrill. An excellent movie worth watching and buying. That is, if you like horror movies. 5 stars.
Jesus.
Now, this one is for you true horror fans and for you listening at home. This is a little lengthy, but it takes you down a rabbit hole so deep, it will blow your mind. From Suzuko. First off, spoilers is listed. The whole inside joke about this film that Adam Marcus took an epic fail missing them in the mark is that this is the Evil Dead Friday the 13th. Evil Dead is a cold horror film that has a huge underground following. The Necronomicon being present in the film was the tip, as well as the dagger that looks like the Evil Dead dagger. It was an epic fail because the horror fans and average audience didn't have a flying cow clue what was happening in this movie. Well, no shit, nobody does. Evil Dead is a cult film, not a mainstream film. As such, most people just didn't get it. If you watch The Evil Dead before you watch this film makes perfect and complete sense.
Okay.
Jason is a deadite. Kandarian demon human hybrid. His mother clearly used the Necronomicon to bring Jason back, which is why the book is still in the house. This is why Jason never dies for good in any of the Friday the 13th media, and why he has demonic powers. The Evil Dead is like the base game, Doom 3, whereas Jason Goes to Hell is like the expansion pack, Doom 3, Resurrection of Evil. Because of that fact, most people, even a lot of horror fans, didn't get what was happening. Jay just thought the Necronomicon appearance was nothing more than a cameo and failed to understand that it was a tip for horror fans for us to uncover the entire inside joke that is this movie, that Jason is a deadite human hybrid. This fact is almost spelled out word for word in the two Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comic books, yet many fans still don't get this. Watching this film without watching The Evil Dead is like trying to play an expansion pack without the base game. It just doesn't work. Without The Evil Dead as the base for understanding, Jason Goes to Hell looks completely out of box. I love this film because Adam took a real chance and did something unique with it. I just feel bad that so many people did not like or get the angle that he was going for. The film was part 9 after all. I appreciate the creative spirit. He thought blah, 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 try something new, tongue-in-cheek. I hope that someday fans will learn to respect what this movie really did instead of looking at it like it's not there at all. 5 stars. What the fuck was that?
Fucking nerd. Yeah.
So Jason's a deadite? Like, what is that guy smoking? Because I want some of that.
Jesus.
Jeez, yeah. So, holy shit. Let's start wrapping up. Final thoughts. So bad's good. So bad scary. Aaron, what is your final thought on this movie?
I'm actually going to go out and say so bad it's good.
Holy cow, really?
I know. It's rare, but...
Aaron getting some booze from the audience on that one.
The reason I'm going to... We've seen Jason do the same thing over and over again. He went to Manhattan, whatever. But he's gone to Crystal Lake, killed people over and over and over and over and over again. At least it's a twist. It's an attempt. There's some good gore, some good kills. It's something you'd watch on the couch with your buddies, drinking beers, laughing at. It's not that bad that you don't have to watch it. Watch it with some buds. It's so bad it's good.
All right, for me, I'm kind of the opposite. If this was a standalone movie that had nothing to do with Jason and just some kind of weird demon worm, okay, I can get behind it. But this is supposed to be a Jason movie. I don't care if it's been tried and true. Give me what I want. Give me my junk. Give me my Jason crack. You know,
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I want to see. When people hear Friday the 13th, geez, that's what they expect. So to me, this movie is fucking awful because it makes zero sense at all. I don't care if you want to do something new, but good God, did they fuck it up? So, as a standalone movie by itself, I would say maybe So Bad It's Good because it does have some awesome kills in it, some good gore effects. But as a Friday the 13th movie, Jason, So Bad It's Scary. It is fucking awful. So I'm saying scary on this one.
All right.
For those of you seen it, So Bad It's Good, So Bad It's Scary. For those of you who know what we're doing here, what do you say? Scary. Everybody's saying scary.
A lot of scaries, yeah.
Aaron,
Sorry, I stand alone. Aaron stands alone.
Aaron stands alone.
Okay.
He is the cheese.
Yeah.
That is going to do it for us. So thank you for everybody who does come
everyone.
out. Thank you for
so
Sullivan's
much.
Bar.
Appreciate it.
This was
Thank
a
you.
blast.
Thank you, Sullivan's.
We will be back in a week.
Check out Sullivan's in Belleville.
Remember, for those you can check us out on Facebook. Check us. Our website is horriblehorrorpodcast.com. We are on Twitter at So Bad It's Scary. You can download and listen to the podcast at horriblehorror.podbean.com. And for download for free, subscribe to us on iTunes as well. All 100% free. Check it out. Enjoy us. Follow us. We'll be back later. Till the meantime, take care, Moon Goons.
Hugs and kisses.